All right. Good morning. Thanks for coming, Sophie. Catching it live on demand because you're here. So today is our hour-ish or so of stretching. Not necessarily yoga vinyasa at all. This is more just like a feel-good, uh, start your day off kind of stretch, or even it could be used as an end your day stretch as well, or even the middle of the day stretch, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, right? We can stretch any time of the day. It's just going to help you have a nice mellow feel afterwards and hopefully feel a little more open and receptive to things afterwards. We're going to get a little bit of everything today, mostly focusing on upper body. We're going to get a bit of lower body too, just focusing some more on upper body today. Let's arrive. Let's take a seat. If you're not already sitting, easy, comfortable position. Take some breaths. Let us just sit and breathe. Feel your body. Take a scan from your sit bones through your spine to your shoulders, your neck. How do your thighs feel sitting in this cross-legged position? Becoming in tune and aware of your body is something that we should all have a skill at seeing, right? If you're not aware and in tune with your body, how can we be aware of all those external things if the thing that we're living in for our whole life, we're not aware of that? So by exercising, by practicing yoga, by doing the stretch, by taking different modalities of movement and creating awareness within, we can create that inside. It will in turn let us become much more aware of that which is around us. All right, we're gonna start standing or by the wall. Hopefully you have a wall. If not, that means you're outside. So grab a fence or a tree or your car if somehow you're outside doing this. All right, we got wall, dog, but eyes and Y's. So we're going to try to open up that shoulder flexion here to start. The first one we'll do is trying to open up into the Y at the eye, and then we'll do it again a little bit wider to get more of the pecs in your Y position, right? Hands at the wall, about shoulder height. We'll start to walk the feet outward behind you, stacking the ankles right underneath the hips. Now with your arms in that I position, we're trying to get the biceps to go at least even with the ears. If not, start to get behind the ears as you make your chest a little bit more heavy toward the floor. Now that we have that, let's focus on our spine. Tailbone lengthening underneath you a little bit or down toward the heels. Will then open up a little more in that armpit area. Inhales, lengthen spine. Exhales, drop the heart. A little bit more, a little bit more. Release the head. Just hold. Find your breath. Long elbows. Don't let the elbows bend here. Gently round your spine to bring yourself back up closer to the wall and then standing. Just give yourself a big hug, tight hug here. So if you had one, like the right hand over the shoulders, now we'll switch left hand across. Finding the same position, but we're opening up a little wider now into your Y, right? So make the hands wider on the wall where you started. Walk the feet out a little bit. Start to drop the heart through. This one might be a little easier to find the opening just because the opening of the shoulders. You're going to feel it in a little bit of a different place, a little more toward the pec attachments, where they attach in the upper arm. Your chest muscle, the pec major, actually attaches on the humerus, which is the upper arm bone. So it's important to try to get it from different angles so we can find your attachments where they are tighter or where they originate up into the shoulder, different angles. Long elbows, heart heavy, tailbone lengthens for the long spine. Inhales, we try to lengthen the crown of the head. Exhales, try to find even a millimeter extra of melting down. Try to understand what's going on here. Feel it. Create that awareness of the sensations. Gently round the spine to bring you back up, standing tall. All right. Opened up into shoulder flexion. Now we're going to get straight up pec stretches. So let's go right hand behind the back. Like you're going to do a little half bind as much as you can around. It'll help to keep the right shoulder down away from the ear. The left arm will come up on the wall into, we'll first start in this overhead Y type of position with one arm, right? Shoulder away from the ear. Start to pivot away from the hand on the wall, opening up a little more again through your shoulders. That right shoulder down and away. Just want to gaze toward the right shoulder. Maybe get a little extra neck opening in the front left side. Super mellow out here this morning. Got a nice light drizzle. The neighborhood is quiet. The air is cool and fresh. Hopefully, whatever day you're looking for is what you're having. All right, let's release that. We'll keep with the same arm, keep the bind. So that was a Y. We're going to go into your cactus here, bending the elbow about shoulder height or slightly higher. Keep that on the wall. Shoulder comes away from the ear. Now pivot away from the wall, opening through the left side of the chest. Maybe you feel it in the bicep a little bit. Exhale, let's find a little more release. All right, release that last one, and then we'll switch it up. We're going to find a T, but with the T, you're going to have the thumb or the palm even with the floor, right? So this kind of position with the hand on the wall, the hand thumb side will be on the wall so that we can try to find this opening through the front of the forearm, right? Into the bicep. That's kind of what we're going for here. So thumb is on the wall, shoulder away from the ears. Try to have the hand pretty much even with the shoulder height. Now the pinky kind of goes behind you, flexing the pinky back. So you're kind of like stretching the top of the thumb side, but you're probably going to feel it more in the bicep area. Rotating away, shoulder back away from the ear. You want to find a little neck movement, gazing up and diagonal, getting the scalenes a little open. Those are those texting muscles that get tight from looking down. And inhale to release. Wiggle it out, wiggle it out. Maybe you get a couple of these bent over circles. Get some life back into that. Same thing, other side. Left arm behind the back. That should feel pretty easy now, actually. We'll go into the Y position. If you can grab something on the wall that helps get a little more leverage, go for it. All right, opening into that Y, twisting away from the right arm towards your left, gazing over the left shoulder if that feels all right. Exhales. It's no rush. Let the breath tell the muscles to relax, the brain to relax. We'll gently release. Okay, get a little bit of wiggle in there. That was your Y. Going to your cactus type of position. Elbow about even or slightly higher than your shoulder. Start to rotate away, opening up the right pec a little more, shoulder down and lock it in a little bit. Don't let it pop up toward the ear as we're stretching. You'll lose the engagement. If you ever feel any compression in the back of the shoulder while doing these, just try to reset and find a position that feels comfortable with the elbow height. It is possible. If you have a like restricted rotator cuff or feeling a little bit of tightness back there, could have a little compression. Just readjust. And exhale to release that. Let it hang. Now we have that bicep stretch. That's with the pinky going back, putting the stretch on that thumb side of the hand. And then we open up, getting that front of the arm, bicep kind of area, potentially into the forearm, if that's where the linkage is tight. And inhale to release that. Let's wiggle it out, wiggle it out. All right, side bends. This is a nice good morning kind of stretch. All right, we're going to stretch the right side body. So the right foot will be behind the left heel, like you're skiing on one ski. Right foot behind left heel. The left hand a little bit bent on the wall. Inhale, overhead with the right hand. Exhale, start to find a side bend toward the wall. If you can plant the right hand on the wall, go for that. Straighten the elbow, push the right hip out. You can bend potentially the left knee to find some more opening. Start to rotate your chest slightly up toward the ceiling. Engage your tailbone downward so you can have your hips a little more aligned. Okay, trying to make yourself into a big crescent shape. Exhale, 5 more side bend. And inhale, we gently come up. Exhale, release. So on this one, the further your feet are out, the more crescent-y you'll be able to make your body. So find that and play with your flexibility in the side flexion. Stretching the left side, the left foot goes behind the right heel. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, start to find that side bend over to the right. Place the left hand on the wall. The right hand is like your safety. We'll open up toward the ceiling. Try to make the elbow long. Push left hip out. Tailbone lengthens underneath. Inhale back to center. And exhale to release. Wiggle it out, wiggle it out. All right. Standing is done for like pretty much the whole rest of the class. Let's take a seat. So if you would like, you can use your blanket if you have one. You're going to be sitting for a little while here to kind of prop up your bum. That'll help to find a longer spine and help you to be more comfortable in that kind of meditative type of position. All right, so we're going to work the neck a little bit here. We got some movements before we stretch to get it a little more warmed up. So neck, flexion, extension. We're going to try to maintain shoulders down and back so we can at least lock in this part as we flex and extend the neck. If you do have any discomfort other than just stretching the muscles, don't do it. Don't push through that, right? Talk to me after and we can work something for that, right? Tall posture, shoulders down and back, a slight tilt of your sternum up toward the ceiling, chin level with the floor, and then a slight draw back of your chin. We'll exhale, chin towards chest, getting the back of the neck. Inhale, start to gaze up. Maybe get a little Popeye chin, draw out now at the top. Exhale, start to draw the chin in, chin to chest. Inhale, gazing up, Popeye chin. If you don't know what Popeye chin is, it's just trying to get the chin more out. You'll open up the front of the neck. Exhale, one more time, chin to chest. Inhale, we gaze up, chin draw out. That underbite. And relax. Let's find some shoulder movement, shoulder round, shrug, inhale, shrug, exhale, release. Let's do 3 more of those. Inhale, we shrug. Exhale, release. Let the shoulders be super heavy. Inhale, shrug. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, shrug, big shrug, big shrug. And release the tension, let it melt. All right, side to side. Right ear, right shoulder. Open up through the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Try not to reach the shoulder for the ear. Have the ear try to reach to the shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Shoulders are going to want to come up. Try to keep them locked down. You can get those attachments that are a little bit deeper in toward the clavicle area. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. All right, circles. We'll do 3 clockwise, 3 counterclockwise. If you don't know what that is, just think about it real quick. Look at the clock. Shoulders down and back. Chin to chest. Right ear, right shoulder. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder, chin to chest. Go with your breath. As you inhale, you're going up. As you exhale, you're starting to make your way back down. A few more. Whatever direction you're doing, I'm doing counterclockwise first. It doesn't matter. We're going to do the other side just in a second. Find your neutral. Now we go the other direction. Chin to chest, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder, all the way down. Chin to chest. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as the chin comes lower. Get about 3 more of those. There's probably some crunchies going on. If not, congratulations. Good job. You don't have any crunches in your neck. Hopefully you never do. If you do stuff like this all the time before it gets too much, you probably have a better chance. All right. Now we got some stretches after those movements for the neck. Okay, so just like we did on the wall, we'll have left arm come back and around. Let's keep the left arm there for a while. So we're trying to depress that shoulder down. First one we have, we're going to grab, I'd say if you can reach your fingertips toward the lower part of your jaw or at least your ear, grab that. If you can get the fingertips around the jaw, even better. Try to then elbow leads the way, right ear toward right shoulder, but don't yank it too much. Just provide a little bit extra weight. Grabbing under the chin or the outside jaw will help to lengthen some of those attachments of the neck right where they get into the jaw. Inhale to center. Let's do a couple counter movements. So left ear, left shoulder. All right, keep the arm where it is. We're gonna go smell your armpit stretch. So now we're gonna grab the back left quarter of the head, deep as you can get in there. Now the elbow will lead in that diagonal kind of pull, right? Looking toward your armpit, smell your armpit. Nose comes down toward that area. You should feel this nicely in that rear left corner of the neck. Don't pull too hard, just a little bit more over pressure than you would if you didn't have your hand there. If you pull too much, you can create a spasm because the muscles are like, no thanks. Gently inhale to release. Let's do some neck extension here. So gazing up to the counter, that stretch. Exhale to release. One more snooty stretch, and then we'll go to the other side. So this one, we're going to grab the front left quarter of your head, and the elbow will be pulling diagonal up and away. So now we're going to open up that front left corner of the neck. All right. So grab about your cheekbone kind of area, gazing up toward where maybe the wall and the ceiling meet kind of direction. If you want to get that like underbite and then out to the side underbite, play with that jaw positioning to see what that does for the scalings. Nobody's watching. Duck face. And inhale to release. Let's get a counter stretch of that by going the opposite of what you just did. So kind of looking toward the left shoulder, shortening those muscles you just lengthened. And inhale, release. Let that left arm wiggle out. Same 3 stretches, other side. Inhale, right arm comes behind the back. Find your half bind. Keep the shoulder down and depressed. First one we have, left ear, left shoulder, trying to get underneath the right jaw, just in front of the ear. And a gentle pull, left ear to left shoulder, right shoulder down and away. Gently inhale, release. Sorry, we had some sort of call get through. Keep releasing. And so we were right hand behind the back. We released. Okay. Right shoulder, or right ear to right shoulder. Counter stretch. Inhale to center. Smell your armpit. So left hand on the left or on the right corner back of the head, trying to get as low as you can. Start to gaze down towards your armpit in a gentle diagonal pull. It should feel real nice in the back of the neck. These are more like your trapezius and levator scapula, the muscles that kind of shrug your shoulders and that hold your head up as we gaze down, right? Like looking at the phone or reading or typing or knitting, if that's a thing that you picked up during the coronavirus. Inhale, release. All right, last one, the snooty stretch. This one gazing upward toward the corner, wall meets the ceiling. Now we're grabbing the front right corner of the head, looking up on a diagonal, left shoulder away from the ear. And we'll exhale, release. Give yourself a counter movement. So just go in the opposite of what you just did. Inhale to center. Exhale, release. Wiggle it off. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. You can use your blanket or your pillow or something to make a pillow for your head. We got sleeper stretches. We're gonna go 3-way sleeper stretch today. So we're gonna do it in 3 different angles to get different parts of the shoulder. We'll come onto your side like you're gonna go to sleep. Just don't fall asleep yet. Got more work to do. All right, shoulders stack on top of one another, hips stack on top of one another. We're gonna plug that right shoulder back. Your elbow is at 90 degrees. The left hand will go on top of the right wrist, and then we'll internally rotate the right hand toward the floor. Your left shoulder is going to want to pop up toward the ear. Try to lock it back down. You'll feel a difference as you do so. You'll stretch more of where you're trying to stretch. You put some overpressure onto it, right? But don't push too much. Find the line where it's starting to get springy. And we'll exhale. Exhales, try to release the tension. Now that we've been into it for a little while, try to give it just a little more weight as you exhale. Even if you go like a millimeter deeper. Inhale, gently release. All right, so that was 1. We got 2 more. We're gonna go, if this elbow was even with the shoulder, now we go about 30 to 40-ish degrees elbow above shoulder. Your elbow is still at 90 degrees. We'll have the left hand now rotate downward to try to high five the ground. Don't let the shoulder pop up toward the ear. If you can get your arm to the floor, try to tuck the shoulder more underneath you. You really plug it back. And let me know if your hand is on the floor and you don't feel a stretch. Reach out to me afterwards and I'll help you find another way to do this. Inhale to release. The final one on this side. Now the opposite of that. So pass through elbow even with shoulder, and then we'll go a little bit below the shoulder. You're probably going to have to open up the arm a little bit, just because the chest is probably going to be in the way. But tuck in the shoulder, elbow lower than the shoulder. Push the palm toward the floor, working multiple attachment areas in the rotator cuff by changing the angles. Right, you can stack the shoulders a little more over one another. That'll probably find something different. A lot of times we end up leaning back in this. You want to be leaning slightly forward to really stack shoulders. Inhale, release. Starting to prepare yourself to get onto the other side. We're going to do the left shoulder now. Right, stack hips on top of one another. Plug left shoulder underneath. Stack shoulders on top of one another. 90 degrees to start, elbow even with shoulder. Right hand presses down on the left wrist. Internally rotating. Stretching your external rotator cuff. A few more breaths. Find a little more overpressure here now toward the end. Inhale to release. Now we find elbow a little bit higher than shoulder, about 30-ish degrees. Plug it back in, stack shoulders on top. Right hand presses left wrist down. Listen to the laughter of the people outside if you're hearing that too. Makes you smile, happiness. A lot of activity in our neighborhood, which is nice. A few more breaths, so start to put a little bit more weight into it. Keep the shoulder plugged back. Inhale to release. Final angle. Come a little bit lower than elbow even with shoulder. And now we'll press the palm down. Stack shoulders on top of one another. Inhale, gently release. Let's start to make your way out of that position. Take a child's pose here just for a minute to reset in a neutral way. Big toes touch, the knees are wider than the hips. Arms out long. Open up, lengthen your tailbone down. And let's pop up onto, actually don't pop up, stay low. We got child's pose crossbody. So we're gonna go right arm, threading underneath your chest and across your body. Try to plug the right shoulder down, get your hips back into that original position. Now we're starting to gaze toward the right, opening up that right deltoid outside the shoulder, twisting away from the stretch toward the right side. So it's like left shoulder kind of comes down, right shoulder is coming kind of up. Inhale, unthread. Exhale, arms long. Same thing, other side. Inhale to get the arm out. Exhale, thread the needle. Cross body. Now start to gaze over the left shoulder and keep the left shoulder down, locked in, rotating toward the left. Right shoulder down, left shoulder a little bit up. Inhale to release. Exhale, arm in front. Let's lengthen the fingers out as much as you can. Push your tailbone back as much as you can to create the longest spine you can find. And then rotate bicep creases up toward the ceiling. We'll start to bend elbows, getting a bit of a tricep stretch. And then walk your elbows out a little bit more. Try to pat yourself on the back or prayer position in the hands. Start to find your chest a little bit more melty toward the floor. Hands touching your upper back. Just to find a little counter opening. If there's one side that's feeling a little more sticky than the other, let's say, for example, my right tricep or my left tricep, I'm going to use my right hand to try to place my left hand a little more toward the left shoulder blade. So really isolating the left tricep. We'll do both, so don't worry. Just find whichever one feels more if that's the case. And make both arms long. And then we'll bend them in again in just a moment. All right, bend in arms. Find that little tricep opening. And let's take the opposite one. So whatever you did before, try to reach for the shoulder blade behind you. Much as you can. The other hand can help. Exhale, release. And we'll come on to all fours. We get some cat and cows before we make our way toward a little bit of the legs today, not too much. All right, cat and cow, hands under your shoulders, fingers spread really wide, knees under the hips. We'll find neutral first, so tailbone kind of lengthens, shoulders are kind of pressing away just a little bit. Exhale, find your way towards Halloween cat, tailbone lengthens down, shoulders spread and round, chin towards chest. Inhale through neutral. That'll take you up towards cow. Tailbone lifts, heart drops, shoulders away from the ears and kind of come together. Chin up. Exhale, through neutral towards cat, rounding the spine, tailbone lengthens. Inhale through neutral toward cow, chin up, tailbone lifts, heart drops. Exhale, one more time, cat. Inhale, last time, cow, tailbone lifts, heart opens. Exhale, release. Find your child's pose. All right. We'll work toward the hip flexors a little bit and then make our way into some lower body musculature. We're getting toward the end, but at least we can get a few of the main culprits here. Hip flexor, right? So we'll start. If you want to use your blanket for the back knee, it's recommended because give yourself some more comfort where you can. So more intense, the back knee behind the hip, less intense, the back knee right underneath the hip. We haven't really touched much of the lower body, so you might not be ready for an intense stretch. But if you feel like you are, listen to your body. All right, hip flexor, tailbone lengthens down, right hip a little bit up, left hip a little bit down and back. Shoulders away from the ears. We already did tons of that. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, find a little more sinking down and forward. Tailbone lengthens once again. Once you move a little more into it, refined the engagement. Maybe the sternum lifts upward toward the ceiling. Let's drop the left hand toward the floor. Maybe you make the left foot out a little further. Can you tickle your fingertips on the floor or get close to it? Inhale, open up, gazing up toward the right hand, opening through that hip flexor, side body, psoas. If you want to get a little more, bend the right hand, bending that elbow toward the ceiling. Exhale, release. Just hold this low lunge for a minute. Hands on the floor, long spine. Keep holding that. All right, low lunge. Make your way to the other side. Maybe you have to move your blanket a little bit. Foot now comes, oops, sorry. Right foot now is in front. Left knee on the ground, either under the hip or behind it if you want to get a little more out of it. So make sure you're able to stand tall and you're not arching the low back too much. All right, so now right hip down, left hip a little bit up, tailbone lengthens downward. Inhale, arms overhead. Or you can have them behind the head, right? Feel what feels pretty nice here in your shoulders. Try to hinge the hips a little more forward now, sinking into that front leg. Inhale, arms up, and then we'll exhale, start to drop the right hand on the outside of the body. Can you tickle the floor with your fingertips? If you're having a harder time reach, just make that front leg out a little bit more. That'll open up the hip angle. Yeah, now we're there. Gazing up toward the ceiling. Want to get a little more opening through the body. Bend the right elbow. Try to get the hand on the outside of the head. That'll help assist in the opening through that fascia. Oh, yeah. Keep the tailbone engagement down, side bending. Inhale, release arms back overhead. Exhale, this low lunge. All right, let's go back toward the other leg. We're going to take a lizard pose here. So left leg out in front toward the left corner of your mat. You can keep the blanket if you want to. All right, so left foot on the outside, left corner of the mat, the right knee on the ground to start. Long arms, shoulders back. If this is good, keep that there. If you want to find a little different, you can lift the back knee. Maybe that opens up the back hip flexor a little bit more. Another option, forearms start to make their way toward the floor, opening up through the back of the left thigh. You can lift the back knee again. Maybe you find some rocks back and forth. It's always nice in the hamstring here. Yeah, a little more knee extension as you rock back. And if you don't really feel anything with this thing here, you can try to creep that left foot out a little bit more. That'll open up the knee a little bit more, find deeper mid hamstring. If you're super bendy, there are ways you can, to get it. Just talk to me. Plant the hands, push back up, left leg heels, toes, and swings around. Set yourself up, same thing, other side. Right foot on the outside, right corner, top of the mat. Start to plant the hands right under the shoulders. Feel this one out a little bit. Back knee on the floor. If that's where you were and that felt good, you can lift the back knee, right? Straight arms are great. If you want to find a little more depth, go for it. Forearms toward the floor. We're trying to find a long spine here as best as you can, right? So that's the shoulder blades kind of pinching together, broadening the collarbones, leading with your sternum in the forward fold. Lift the back knee if that's what you did before. Rock it out. That always feels a little nice. Getting some gentle flossing in that front leg hamstring. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper, you can always open up the knee joint by walking the foot out a little more in front. Drop the back knee, plant the hands, step back. Take a quick child's pose here to counter. All right. We'll do a couple more stretches to finish it off. And then a nice little shavasana at the end. Let's make your way onto your back. Or sorry, onto a seated position. We got Baddha Konasana. If This is kind of tough for you. You can always roll up that mat again. That'll help you to have a longer spine if you just lift the hips slightly higher. All right, Baddha Konasana, grabbing the feet like a book, shoulders back and down away from the ears. Try to open up the arches. Maybe you press your elbows a little bit into the inside of the calf. Use the outside of your hips to help open the hips a little more. And then we'll exhale to find your forward fold, even if it's a little bit here, or if it's a lot of it, fantastic. That must feel really nice. One of these days, we'll get lower and we'll get lower. Inhale, stand tall or sit tall, or walk the feet out or slide them out just a little bit into more like a diamond versus a triangle. Grab the feet. Exhale, find your forward fold. You can press a little weight into the calves, but not much. Your knees are in a susceptible position here. So more of a hinge forward and forward fold than a pushing into the knees. Inhale, let's round it up. All right, final thing. We got a wall pigeon. So start to shimmy your way toward a wall. Putting your back as close as you can to the wall. Start off with the legs long. Right ankle will come on top of the left knee. And then we'll start to bring the left heel as close as you can get to your butt. You'll probably have to readjust your low back onto the wall as close as you can get, because your back is going to want to round here. Push the pinky edge of your right foot into the knee to help protect the outside of the right knee. So this is like a nice intermediate pigeon, a little bit more intense than that reclined figure 4, but not as intense as a sleeping pigeon. This takes out the hip flexor in the back of the leg, but still feel a real good stretch in the outside of the hip into your glutes and your piriformis. This is a great stretch to open up the low back. We'll start to creep out the left foot to lengthen that. Then release. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to change my wall. Right. Left leg comes on top of right knee. Start to walk in the right heel. Putting yourself in a little pretzel. Push the back into the wall. And relax into this one. Let time do the work. You shouldn't be doing too much here, except for actively pressing the pinky edge of the left foot down. Otherwise, sit with it. And start to walk that right foot out again, lengthening the knee, and then make it easier to remove. Let's come back on the mat for the finish. Gently roll yourself down. Give yourself a double leg hug, Apanasana. Tailbone stays lengthened to the floor. We'll stack the knees over the hips, arms like a T. Exhale, knees toward the left. Try to reach your left hand out a little more just to get the right shoulder blade easier accessible to the floor. Inhale to center. Exhale, we'll shift onto the right hip, drop the knees toward the right. Open up that left low back. Oh, yeah. And then you'll creep your right hand out just a little bit. That'll help to soften your left shoulder blade down to the floor. Inhale, knees back up. Give yourself another hug. Take a happy baby, either peace finger bind on the big toes, or you can grab outside of the feet. Try to keep the shoulders down. The knees and the ankles are in the same line. Lower back still touching the floor all the way down. And then pull open the hips, trying to drive the knees a little bit lower toward the floor. Straighten both knees or one knee and then the other, up to you. Open up a little bit more in those groin kind of area. Knees back to center. Make your way toward Shavasana. Legs long, open them up like a book. Scoop your shoulders underneath you a little bit to keep a nice open heart. Take a few moments here to breathe, to feel, scan your body. Start to bring some gentle movements back in, wiggling your toes and ankles, making some extra muscles in your legs. Work your way up to the wrists and the fingers and the elbows. Inhale, arms overhead, big stretch, long legs. Make your way on to whatever side. Little fetal position for a moment. Press that offhand into the ground to make yourself rise on up. Find a nice, easy seated position, just like how we started. Check in with yourself now. Do you remember what it felt like when you sat in this position in the beginning of class? Do you feel more grounded? Do you feel more lengthened? So by moving our body, by exploring our body, we create more awareness within, which then will lead to a greater awareness externally, right? We sit in meditation to feel our body, to feel our mind, to create that awareness. If you ever do a meditation for 10 or 20 minutes, where there's that quiet, where there's that breath, and then you open your eyes, that feeling of awareness of all of the things around you just becomes more in tune. So challenge yourself to feel yourself, feel your body, explore the inner workings of what makes this magical human body that we have, and this brain and the sensations that we are brought into this life with. Use those. Greater awareness within helps our outward perception of the world around us. We are all the same. We are all connected. All the vibrations that we make here, but the vibrations that come from outside, we are all in harmony. The more that we can feel that, the more part of this world we can be together as a whole, as an interdependent relationship on everything that is around us. So thank you for creating a greater awareness with me today. And I hope you continue for the rest of the week with that. Namaste. You are amazing. Your light is strong. I see it. You see it. I know everybody else can see it as well. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out, cloudstudios.com/feelgood yoga. We got links. We got other stuff coming up on there soon. If there are any bugs that you notice on there, reach out, please feel free. This is a new website that they're working on. We're working with the developers as well. Every day there's something new. We would like to make it as smooth and seamless as possible for everybody. Peace.